the distant past, when the world was full of hardship and darkness, Allah Almighty decided to send a shining light into the world. That light was Prophet Isa, born to the pious and devoted Mary. His birth was a miraculous sign to the world, a promise of Allah's mercy and guidance to those who would accept the truth. Maryam, a woman of unparalleled virtue, had dedicated her life to worship and devotion to Allah. She lived in seclusion, worshiping in the temple, when one day she received a visitation from the angel Gabriel. This divine messenger, with the voice of Allah Almighty, told her of a miraculous event that was to take place. Maryam, Allah Almighty gives you glad tidings of a son who will be a sign for all of mankind and a mercy from him, the angel announced. His name shall be Isa, and he will be a servant of Allah. In disbelief and awe, Maryam asked, "How can I have a son when no man has touched me?" Jibreel replied with unwavering confidence, "Allah has decreed it. When Allah commands something, it happens. Your son will be a prophet, sent to guide the people." Maryam, although astonished, accepted Allah's will without hesitation. She knew that the Creator, who had the power to create the heavens and the earth, could easily bring forth life in whatever way he wished. Months passed, and Maryam's pregnancy became apparent. She was secluded away from her family and the world during this time. Prophet Isa was born in a humble place, far from the comforts and luxuries of the world. Yet this birth was a divine moment, a moment that would change the course of history. When Prophet Isa was born, the earth rejoiced. Maryam held her child close, feeling an overwhelming sense of peace. The child, though only a baby, emanated a sense of purity and light. His arrival was not just a physical birth, but the arrival of hope for mankind. His mother, Maryam, cherished him with all her heart, knowing that he was a sign from Allah Almighty to the world. The most miraculous event occurred when Prophet Isa spoke from the cradle. He declared, "Indeed, I am the servant of Allah. He has given me the book and made me a prophet. He has made me blessed wherever I may be. And he has commanded me to establish prayer and give zakat as long as I live." The people were astonished, for no child had ever spoken such words. This was the first of many miracles that would mark the life of Prophet Isa. He had come into the world with a message of faith, healing, and mercy from Allah. Maryam, though she had known the greatness of her son, was still in awe of his divine mission. She knew that he was destined to be more than just a son. He was a prophet, a guide, and a healer. His miraculous birth, the first words from his mouth, and his unwavering faith in Allah were signs that the world was about to witness extraordinary miracles. As Prophet Jesus grew, so did his wisdom and understanding of his divine mission. From a young age, he displayed remarkable intelligence and an unwavering connection to Allah Almighty. He was not just a prophet, but a servant of Allah, chosen to guide humanity to the path of righteousness, compassion, and faith. At the age of 30, Prophet Jesus received the divine command to embark on his prophetic mission. He was sent to the children of Israel, who had strayed from the path of Allah and were in need of guidance. His message was simple: to worship Allah alone, to follow the true path, and to lead a life of righteousness and justice. He was tasked with calling the people back to the truth, to repentance, and to a life of mercy and humility. Prophet Jesus began his ministry by teaching in the towns and villages, speaking to the people about Allah's mercy and forgiveness. He urged them to turn away from their sins, to embrace faith, and to act with kindness and justice. His words were powerful, resonating deeply with those who were open to his message, but they also stirred up opposition from the religious authorities who felt threatened by his teachings. Verily, Allah is the only true God. He is the creator of the heavens and the earth. Follow his guidance, for it is the path to salvation. Prophet Jesus proclaimed as he addressed the crowds. As Prophet Jesus traveled, he performed numerous miracles that astonished those who witnessed them. These miracles were not just acts of wonder. They were signs from Allah, demonstrating his power and the truth of Prophet Jesus' message. One of the most famous miracles was his ability to heal the sick. Those who were afflicted with diseases that had no cure found hope in Prophet Jesus. The blind were given sight, the lepers were healed, and the paralyzed were able to walk again, all by the will of Allah. One day, a woman suffering from a long-term illness came to Prophet Jesus, desperate for a cure. She had heard of the miracles he performed and believed that if she could just touch his garment, she would be healed. With great faith, she reached out and touched his cloak, and in that moment, her illness was cured. Prophet Jesus turned to her, saying, "It is your faith in Allah that has healed you." Another miracle that Prophet Jesus performed was raising the dead. One of his most profound miracles occurred when he brought a young man back to life, much to the amazement of the onlookers. The people were left in awe of the divine power that Prophet Jesus wielded, and many of them began to believe in his message. He also performed miracles over nature, like calming storms and walking on water. These acts were not only signs of his prophetic power, but also reminders of Allah's control over the universe and his mercy toward his creation. Alongside his miracles, Prophet Jesus delivered profound teachings that emphasize the importance of mercy, humility, and social justice. He condemned arrogance and self-righteousness, and instead called for love, compassion, and charity. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for they shall inherit the kingdom of Allah. Prophet Jesus taught the people. These words resonated deeply, offering a message of hope and healing for those who were oppressed and marginalized. One of his most significant teachings was about forgiveness. He urged his followers to forgive those who wronged them, saying, "Forgive, and you will be forgiven." This message of forgiveness was not only spiritual, but also practical, as it helped to heal divisions in society and fostered unity among the people. Prophet Jesus also called for the people to embrace the concept of selflessness. He taught that true greatness came not from wealth or status, but from humility and serving others. Whoever wants to be great must serve others, he said, showing that leadership was about caring for the well-being of others, especially the poor and needy. As Prophet Jesus preached and performed miracles, many people embraced his message. They recognized the truth in his words, and they followed him, seeking healing for their bodies and souls. But, as is often the case with divine messages, there were others who rejected him. The religious leaders of the time saw Prophet Jesus' growing influence as a threat to their authority. They were disturbed by his message of reform and his rejection of their corrupt practices. They did not want to lose their power or position, and they sought to discredit Prophet Jesus. Despite the opposition, Prophet Jesus remained patient and steadfast in his mission. He knew that his purpose was to guide those who were open to the truth, and he focused on reaching out to the hearts of those who were willing to listen. One day, the Pharisees, the religious scholars of the time, approached Prophet Jesus and asked him to prove that he was the Messiah. He responded with wisdom, saying, "A wicked and adulterous generation asks for a sign, but none will be given to it except the sign of the prophet Jonah." In his words, Prophet Jesus reminded them that true faith came not from demanding signs and miracles, but from sincere belief in Allah and his message. The life of Prophet Jesus was not only marked by divine miracles and profound teachings, but also by the intense trials and opposition he faced. His message of mercy, forgiveness, and righteousness was not always well received, and as he continued his mission, the challenges grew more daunting. Yet, throughout it all, he remained steadfast in his faith and commitment to Allah Almighty's divine plan. As Prophet Jesus' popularity spread, so did the opposition from the religious leaders of the time. The Pharisees, Sadducees, and other authorities felt their power threatened by the changes he advocated. His teachings undermined their rigid, often hypocritical interpretations of religious law, and his miraculous acts cast doubt on their claims of divine favor. The religious elite saw Prophet Jesus not only as a threat to their power, but also as someone who would disturb the status quo, which they worked so hard to maintain. One day, a group of Pharisees approached Prophet Jesus with questions meant to trap him. They asked him whether it was lawful to pay taxes to the Roman emperor, seeking to put him in a compromising position. If he answered affirmatively, he would be accused of supporting Roman oppression. If he answered negatively, he would be seen as inciting rebellion. Prophet Jesus responded wisely, saying, "Give to Caesar what is Caesar's, and to Allah what is Allah's." His response left them speechless, as it both acknowledged the political reality of Roman rule and reinforced the ultimate authority of Allah. His ability to navigate such traps further angered the religious leaders, who saw their influence slipping away. Despite this, many of the common people embraced his message. They were drawn to his simplicity, his wisdom, and his power to heal the sick and raise the dead. However, the religious leaders remained adamant in their rejection of Prophet Jesus, and the tension between him and the authorities continued to grow. As Prophet Jesus' popularity continued to rise, so did the threats against him. The religious leaders, fearing his influence, began to plot against him. They sought ways to accuse him of blasphemy and treason, hoping to have him silenced once and for all. The last days of Prophet Jesus' ministry were marked by a deepening sense of danger. He knew that the time had come for him to face the greatest trial of all, the test of his own faith in Allah's plan. One night, he gathered his disciples for a final meal, known as the Last Supper. It was during this meal that he shared his sorrow with his closest companions, telling them that one of them would betray him. The disciples, taken aback, asked who it would be. Prophet Jesus responded, "It is the one who dips his bread into the dish with me." This moment foreshadowed the ultimate betrayal, as Prophet Jesus knew that one of his own disciples, Judas Iscariot, would soon betray him to the authorities for 30 pieces of silver. Despite the knowledge of the coming betrayal, Prophet Jesus remained calm, showing no signs of fear or despair. After the meal, Prophet Jesus went to the Garden of Gethsemane to pray. It was here that he faced his greatest test of faith. Alone in the garden, he pleaded with Allah, asking if it was possible to avoid the impending suffering. Yet, even in his moment of anguish, he submitted to the will of Allah Almighty, saying, "Not my will, but yours be done." This moment of prayer was not only a testament to his unwavering faith, but also a powerful reminder to his followers of the importance of surrendering to Allah's plan, no matter how difficult it may seem. Prophet Jesus faced the ultimate trial with patience and devotion, trusting in Allah's wisdom and mercy. As Prophet Jesus prayed in the garden, the sound of approaching footsteps echoed through the quiet night. Judas, having betrayed his master, led a group of soldiers to the garden to arrest him. With a kiss, Judas identified Prophet Jesus to the authorities, sealing his fate. The disciples, horrified by the betrayal, tried to defend Prophet Jesus, but he told them to put away their swords, saying, "Shall I not drink the cup that the Father has given me?" He knew that this was the moment for which he had been sent, and he accepted it with grace and resolve. Prophet Jesus was arrested and brought before the Jewish high priests, who falsely accused him of blasphemy. They demanded that he answer for his teachings and his claims of being the Son of God. But Prophet Jesus remained silent, offering no defense, for he knew that his mission was not to seek personal vindication, but to fulfill the divine will of Allah Almighty. The high priests, enraged by his silence, handed him over to the Roman governor, Pontius Pilate. Pilate, seeing that Prophet Jesus was innocent of any crime deserving of death, sought to release him. But the crowd, stirred by the religious leaders, demanded that Prophet Jesus be crucified. In the end, Pilate, unwilling to risk a revolt, gave in to the demands of the crowd. The crucifixion of Prophet Jesus is one of the most significant events in his life, and it represents a moment of profound sacrifice and divine purpose. As Prophet Jesus was led to the hill of Golgotha, carrying the cross on his back, he knew that his suffering was part of Allah's plan to redeem humanity. His crucifixion was not an end, but rather the beginning of a new chapter in the journey of faith. As he hung on the cross, Prophet Jesus spoke words of forgiveness, showing his compassion even in the face of immense suffering. "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing," he prayed. This act of forgiveness, even in the midst of his pain, served as a powerful message to his followers and to all of humanity. It was a message that echoed the teachings of mercy and forgiveness that Prophet Jesus had preached throughout his life. However, the crucifixion was not the end of Prophet Jesus' mission. According to Islamic tradition, Allah Almighty did not allow Prophet Jesus to be crucified. Instead, he raised him up to himself, sparing him from the physical death that was intended for him. In the Quran, Allah Almighty says, "They did not kill him, nor did they crucify him, but it appeared so to them." Quran 4:157. This divine intervention marked a moment of triumph for Prophet Jesus, as he was taken up by Allah Almighty in a miraculous ascension. His enemies thought they had succeeded in their plot, but in truth, Allah's plan prevailed, and Prophet Jesus was saved from harm. The ascension of Prophet Jesus serves as a testament to the power and mercy of Allah. It is a reminder that no matter how difficult the trials may be, Allah's plan is always greater than any human scheme, and those who place their trust in him will ultimately find victory. The life of Prophet Jesus left an indelible mark on history, not just through his miracles, his message, and his ultimate sacrifice, but also through the powerful legacy he left behind. His story continues to inspire countless believers around the world, transcending time and space. This final part of the journey through his life explores the lessons of faith, patience, and justice that Prophet Jesus imparted, the lasting impact of his mission, and the belief in his eventual return as a guiding light for humanity. When Prophet Jesus was raised up to Allah Almighty, his physical departure from this world did not signify the end of his influence. On the contrary, his legacy continued to spread far and wide, through his teachings and through the hearts of those who followed him. His message of monotheism, humility, love, forgiveness, and mercy became pillars of faith for countless individuals. His followers, known as the early Christians, carried his teachings and spread them across the world, establishing the foundation for one of the world's largest religions. In Islam, Prophet Jesus is considered one of the greatest and most revered prophets. His life and his message stand as a model of righteous living and submission to Allah's will. One of the most important aspects of Prophet Jesus' legacy was his emphasis on the power of faith. His teachings were not just about worshiping Allah. They were about how to live a life of compassion, love, and justice. His ability to heal the sick, raise the dead, and perform miracles was not for the purpose of self-glorification, but to demonstrate the power of faith in Allah's mercy. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of Allah, Prophet Jesus taught, emphasizing the need for reconciliation and love between all people. His message of peace, especially in times of strife and conflict, resonates today more than ever. Those who live with faith, forgiveness, and mercy, he promised, would be closer to Allah. Another key lesson from the life of Prophet Jesus is the importance of patience and endurance in the face of hardship. Throughout his life, he was tested by numerous trials: rejection, betrayal, persecution, and ultimately the suffering of the crucifixion. Yet, at no point did he waver in his faith or his submission to the will of Allah. In the Quran, Allah Almighty tells us, "And we made the son of Mary and his mother a sign, and we gave them refuge on a height, a place of rest and security." Quran 23:50. This verse highlights the significance of Prophet Jesus and his mother, Mary, as symbols of purity, faith, and endurance. Despite the challenges they faced, they never lost their trust in Allah's plan. Their story is a reminder to all believers that, no matter how difficult life may become, the path of patience and trust in Allah is always the one that leads to ultimate success. Prophet Jesus' suffering on the cross was not a sign of defeat, but rather an example of supreme patience. His ability to forgive those who wronged him, even while enduring immense physical and emotional pain, exemplified the teachings he had preached throughout his life. His words on the cross, "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing," stand as one of the most profound expressions of forgiveness in the history of humankind. In Islamic tradition, the return of Prophet Jesus is not just an event of historical significance, but a promise of divine justice and the ultimate triumph of good over evil. Muslims believe that Prophet Jesus will return in the end times as part of the final victory over the forces of oppression and falsehood. The Quran makes several references to the return of Prophet Jesus. In Surah An-Nisa, Allah Almighty says, "And for their saying, indeed, we have killed the Messiah, Jesus, the son of Mary, the messenger of Allah. And they did not kill him, nor did they crucify him, but it appeared so to them. And indeed, those who differ over it are in doubt about it. They have no knowledge of it except the following of assumption. And they did not kill him for certain. Rather, Allah raised him to himself. And ever is Allah exalted in might and wise." Quran. The return of Prophet Jesus is one of the major signs of the Day of Judgment, a time when all the world's injustices and falsehoods will be corrected. According to Islamic belief, Prophet Jesus will descend from the heavens, and with his return, he will defeat the Antichrist, the Dajjal, who will have spread corruption, lies, and tyranny across the world. He will then establish a period of peace and justice, a reign of righteousness before the final end of the world. The return of Prophet Jesus will not be just for the followers of Christianity or Islam, but for all of humanity. His mission, much like his first coming, will be one of restoring faith, teaching justice, and guiding the people back to the worship of Allah Almighty. He will act as a unifying force, bringing together the believers and guiding them toward the straight path. In the hadiths of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, it is mentioned that when Prophet Jesus returns, he will break the cross, abolish the falsehoods that were spread about him, and clarify the true message of Islam. He will lead the believers in prayer, and after establishing justice, he will die a natural death, fulfilling the cycle of his earthly life. The life of Prophet Jesus offers timeless lessons that continue to speak to the hearts of believers today. His message was one of peace, love, forgiveness, and absolute submission to Allah Almighty's will. His mission was not just to perform miracles, but to guide humanity toward a better, more compassionate way of life. One of the most important lessons from his life is the importance of sincerity and faith. Prophet Jesus taught that true worship is not about outward appearances or rituals, but about the sincerity of one's heart. He emphasized that a person's connection to Allah is what truly matters. He also taught the value of selflessness and compassion. Love your neighbor as yourself was one of his core teachings, urging people to treat others with kindness, understanding, and empathy. This message is as relevant today as it was in his time, especially in a world that often seems divided and fractured by hatred and conflict. One of the most remarkable aspects of Prophet Jesus' legacy is the shared respect and reverence he commands among the world's major faiths. Islam, Christianity, and Judaism all recognize his prophethood and his role in the divine plan. For Muslims, Prophet Jesus is a revered prophet, one of the 5 great messengers of Allah. He is considered a symbol of purity, a servant of Allah, and a bringer of light to those lost in darkness. His message aligns with the core teachings of Islam, and his life exemplifies the highest ideals of faith, patience, and submission to Allah. For Christians, Prophet Jesus is the central figure of their faith, the Son of God who came to redeem humanity. His crucifixion and resurrection form the cornerstone of Christian theology, and his teachings continue to inspire millions around the world. Despite the theological differences between Islam and Christianity, both faiths share a common reverence for Prophet Jesus and his teachings. This shared legacy serves as a reminder of the importance of interfaith dialogue, mutual respect, and the common values of compassion, justice, and peace that all religions advocate. The life of Prophet Jesus serves as a beacon of light for believers around the world. His story is one of divine purpose, sacrifice, and unwavering faith in Allah Almighty. Through his miracles, his teachings, and his ultimate trial, he showed humanity the path of righteousness, patience, and mercy. As we reflect on his life, we are reminded of the importance of living with faith, compassion, and justice. The legacy of Prophet Jesus continues to guide us, urging us to follow the straight path, to treat others with kindness, and to trust in Allah's plan, no matter the trials we may face. And so, the journey of Prophet Jesus, the man of miracles, the teacher of faith, and the symbol of divine mercy, continues to inspire humanity to this day, offering hope and healing to all who seek his guidance.